Hi everyone, welcome back to Student Pages Spotlight series. I am your host Izzy and today I'm joined by the incredible Maya Lane. Thank you so much for joining us and how are you doing today?
Thank you for having me. I'm good. I'm very, very hot. I live
Yeah.
in London and it's like, what, maybe 30 degrees today? It's very, very warm. So
Yeah.
I'm like
Well, yeah,
soaking
I'm
wet.
up north and I'm like yeah, it's like 27 here, so I can't imagine what it's like in
Yeah.
London. Crazy. But first and foremost, I wanted to congratulate you on your new single, Cherry Stains and Dumb Flings, an incredible song. I've been listening to it non-stop. So, what inspired the lyrics behind this new single, and how has the creative process helped you develop as an artist?
Hmm. Yeah, so I wrote this song literally almost a year to the day around this time of year last year. And it was at a time in my life where I had all these incredible things happening in terms of my career. Like I was playing some of the biggest shows that I've ever played. I was going on tour in Europe, supporting artists that I love for the first time. And in and amongst all of that, I was also moving out of my childhood home, and we were kind of dealing with like all life stuff going on at home and unpacking everything and switching things up and not having a place to live for a month. And so I was staying in between like hotels when I was on tour, but also friends' houses and just trying to make things work. And it felt like this crazy time full of the highest highs, but also the lowest lows. And the song just really kind of expresses that feeling and sort of touches on the feeling you get when you have the desire to kind of return to a place or a state of mind or a being, but knowing that it's never going to quite be the same and you're probably not going to be able to go back to it. And it's like kind of like half acceptance, half like grieving the past and the kind of the place you were in.
So, you recently opened up on Roundhay Festival the day that Louise Capaldi took the stage. What did it mean for you to be a part of such a big, prestigious festival, and how did it feel to receive some recognition for your incredible work?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was such a special day. I was so excited when I got told I was doing it. Um, I love Lewis obviously and so many of the other artists on the lineup. So it really felt like one of those bucket list moments to be able to go and play and kind of be on like one, have my name on the same t-shirt as them, on the same concert, but also, be in a really iconic space as well. I know
Mhm.
obviously I'm not from Leeds and this was my first time like playing in Leeds, so that was really cool. And to play at an event which obviously has so much history, like Roundhay Park, with the people who've played there. Like I think it's like Michael Jackson and Prince of all these people have played there. To then be an artist now, to be able to say that I've played in the same space on kind of the year that it's all like reopened and started again was really special. And the crowd was so lovely. Everyone, there were so many people got down early to come and see me. And obviously, it's a very long day. Most people are there to see Lewis, and so it was really really just like such a special, lovely moment. And it was so cool to look out and just see people singing your songs in a place that you've never played and never been to.
And so what did you make of Leeds? I mean, obviously you said the crowd was incredible, but did you get to explore a little bit or were you straight back down to
I had
London?
like a morning in Leeds and I went to a really good coffee shop. That's all I It's right by the station. I want to say it's called like Raw or something.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I went to a good coffee shop, and that's kind of all I saw of Leeds. But I did go for a walk round Roundhay Park the next morning, and it was
Mhm.
beautiful. Even like with all the festival stuff going on, it was so nice. But yeah, the atmosphere was great. Like everyone was just really there for it. I met so many people who also didn't know my music, who came up after, and they were like, "Oh, we just kind of were wandering along and got involved and stayed to listen." And I think that's like the beauty of live music, and being in new places and having people who are accepting, kind of excited to discover new stuff and hear things.
Mhm.
So yeah, Leeds had a great energy.
And I feel like, as you say, that's the beauty of festivals, that like it's all about discovery and it's such a fun time. But you also do living room tours where you actually go and play intimate gigs in your fans' actual living rooms. And I think this is such an incredible concept. What made you want to do gigs like this, and how does this differ in your performance from doing a festival or a stage like Roundhay, for example?
Yeah, it kind of is almost, apart from me singing a few of the same songs, feels entirely different.
Mhm.
If anything, sometimes I find the living room tours like more nerve-wracking because it's so
Mhm.
one-on-one and like up close and personal. But it was something that I started doing it with my best friend who's also an artist, Edie Benz, and we met on a support tour that we were both doing for a band called Far From Saints, and we both did like opposite legs of the tour. So I did the north, she did the south, and we kind of did a bit of each. And so we thought, after that tour, why don't we try and like get back out to the places that we've both been to, but also reach the audiences of the other places that we missed on the tour. And we were kind of thinking about how do we tour as, like to independent artists and make it sustainable, but also make it accessible for fans. And, not everyone can travel into city centres to go to gigs. When it's expensive, it's not always very accessible. And we're just kind of thinking of ways to get ourselves out there. So we put out this post just asking if anyone would be interested in hosting a show, and we had so many responses. We still have we need to do another round, honestly. We've still got so many to get through, but I think we did 3 rounds of the living room tour, all over north of England, south of England, and Wales.
Hmm.
She just popped up in people's houses, played the songs to them. It was so special to be able to one, kind of take requests right there and then and see how people are feeling, and also hear the stories and be able to kind of interact with our community and our followers and our fans and get to know them, because they are such a big part of the music and the journey, and part of how I am able to be an artist. So to be able to kind of give back but also connect with them and just hang out really is really special.
And I mean, as I said, I think it's such an incredible concept. I think it's so unique and so intimate, and I feel like that's such a great way to establish a connection with your fans. And I think that was a really beautiful thing to have done. But I want to move on and just say I am a huge fan of both Fleetwood Mac and Haim, both of which are bands that you have said that you take inspiration from, and I think that really presents itself in your sound. And are these, would you say these are the main inspirations behind your music, or is there maybe anyone in your personal life who inspires you throughout your journey?
Yeah, there's so many artists that I feel have had, especially at different phases of my life, that have had kind of huge impact on me. But those two are definitely at the top there, alongside Joni Mitchell and Casey Musgraves, and
Mhm.
even Bob Dylan and people like that. I feel like I grew up with my dad playing me so much music. Neither of my parents are in music; they have nothing to do with it. They're just fans. But he listened to such a wide range of music growing up, and would kind of get me and my sister in the car and be like, right, today you're listening to reggae, or today it's rock,
Mhm.
or it's pop, or whatever it would be. And we'd always be like, play Avril Lavigne, play Taylor Swift. But now I'm so grateful for that, because I think that I kind of draw influences from every aspect of it. And just realizing that all music is so boundaryless, and it doesn't have to be so tight into the different genres. And I feel as though that shift is happening a lot more now, that people are crossing boundaries and crossing genres. And so I kind of have my dad to thank for a lot of my music taste and kind of influences. But I'm honestly also just so inspired by my friends. One of my favorite things is seeing my friends just get on stage and sing their songs, and being a fan of other artists, and just loving the music and learning from them and writing with them and collaborating.
Definitely, and I think, as you said, more in the modern day, we're seeing a lot of blending of boundaries when it comes to music, and I feel like that's such an incredible thing. And I feel like that also can link back to the living room tours of the fact of you're able to put yourself in the position of both a fan, a listener, and a performer, and I think that is really reflective in your music and in your sound. But I did want to ask you as well. So you said that neither of your parents come from a musical background, but your dad kind of introduced you to all these different genres. Can you give us a little background on how you got into the music industry and why you chose this direction?
Yeah, so I was always that kid that basically cried and screamed until I could sing. My mum did not shut up, whether it was screaming, crying, laughing, whatever you were doing, you're making some sort of noise. And it was just always felt like something I did. I put on shows all the time as a kid. I made everyone listen to me at Christmas and things like that. And probably really irritating for all my family members, but I had to start practicing, didn't I? And so it sort of started there. And I think at school, I'm very dyslexic and I have ADHD. So academic schoolwork was never really my strong point. I was always much more creative and wanting to play and perform or do sports and things. And the school I went to was great with just encouraging that. And so I started guitar lessons quite young, and from there, and I did classical singing competitions. And I think I got to about the age of 11, and I was like, I saw Taylor Swift play at the O2 on the Red Top for my first show, and I was like, hold on, maybe this can be a thing that people do. And I just started applying to festivals, and I would apply to like hundreds of festivals. And I'm talking anywhere from like the local dog festival in the park to Glastonbury, age 11.
Mhm.
And I would just send emails being like, I know I'm 11, but please can I play at any time, anywhere? And I would hear back from maybe like one or two, but it sort of got my foot in the live door or got me started down that route. And then from then on, it was just like playing restaurants, cover gigs, and then branching out into kind of my own shows and supports and things like that. And then alongside that, writing has always been something that I've done as well. I was always making up songs and just my way of processing things. I'm a very sensitive soul, and it feels like something that comes very natural to me to just kind of process my emotions in that way and kind of like journaling. So I feel very lucky that it was something that almost just kind of happened naturally and a path that I was able to discover quite easily, because I know it can be so hard to kind of like find your passion and your things. But yeah, I'm very lucky to have found that early on and also to have all these people around me who were so supportive of it.
Definitely. And I feel like a lot of people listening to this will feel very inspired by that. But I was also wondering, did you have a specific piece of advice that you might give to a student or a young person who's looking to get into the music industry?
Hmm. I would say, I mean, everyone says it and it's a boring answer, so I'll say two things. But I think the first is like, just be yourself. Like, have you blinkers on a little bit. I know it's so easy to be like, oh, this, I'm going to lean into this. This is trending a bit, or that's trending. But there's already a Zara Larson, there's already a Casey Musgraves, there's already a Julie, like whoever it is you're looking up to. And the most interesting thing you can be is yourself. And I know that can feel really hard, but I think trying to look for the space in the music industry is almost more important than looking like as to where to follow, and seeing kind of where how you can fit yourself into the space that there is and what you can offer. And I think if you like your music, there's going to be other people out there who do, and I think trying to hold on to that is really important. The music industry is tough and it's quite brutal, and it can feel really oversaturated and like quite intense and hard to break into. But I think you got to kind of hold the reason, like, why are you doing this? If you do it because you love it, like, carry on, keep going. And also, if you do love it and you are liking the music you're creating, there's got to be other people out there who are going to connect with it. So those are the things I try and hold on to when it all feels like a bit too much or it feels like such a hard world to kind of step into. And also just put yourself out there, go to as many shows as you can, DM people, slide into people's DMs. You think it's embarrassing, but like, the worst they're going to do is ignore it, and they're probably not going to even think about it after that. So yeah.
Definitely. I mean, you definitely did that by emailing all these
Yeah.
people at 11 years old, so it pays off clearly. But I also wanted to ask you, I feel like now in modern society, there's maybe a lot of pressure, and especially with social media, I feel like it can at times also be quite hateful or judgmental. So, did you have any advice for anyone, of overcoming any hate or judgment, when people are pursuing their dreams?
Yeah, I mean, I think again, I kind of go back to the how do you feel when you're doing it and kind of taking it like looking internally rather than externally. There's always going to be someone who has something to say about it, and they are always going to be the loudest online. And it's funny when you see the people, like if you have experiences of seeing the people who are commenting stuff online in real life, and you're like, I doubt you're going to say it now. I think kind of looking inward at yourself, and if you're proud of something, if you're feeling happy creating it, if you're feeling fulfilled, then that's the most important thing. And there's someone out there for everyone, there's a fan base out there for everyone, and your stuff isn't gonna be for everyone, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be liked by everyone, there's no need for that. So it's so much easier said than done. I get one comment and I'm like, oh, I never want to look at it again. But I think trying to hold on to that feeling of just creating and making things that feel authentic to you. And then even if you turn around in 5 years and you're going in a different direction, at least you know that at the time that's what felt right. And I think if things don't feel right when you're posting on social media, there's like a balance to be had of pushing yourself, because sometimes we can hold ourselves back of like fear of judgment or embarrassment about like, what are my friends gonna say if I post this video? But I think if there's something like if like you're not a dancer, you don't need to do the TikTok dance trends. Like there'll be something else that you can do, which I'm sure will get your name out there. And that's something that I've had to learn and like trying to learn.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think it just comes back to like what feels right to you and trying to block out the noise a little bit.
For sure. And I feel like a lot of people, again, listening to this will resonate with that a lot and really appreciate that advice. And so, what do you feel like throughout your career has been your biggest challenge, but then also your biggest success?
Oh, that's such a hard one because I feel like with music, so much of it comes kind of at the same time as like I was describing with Cherry Stains
Mhm.
and Dumb Flings. Like it's a very uncertain industry. It can be very hard in a lot of ways, especially as an independent artist. Like financially, there's been some moments where I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to keep putting music out, or I work like many jobs alongside this, as do most of my artist friends. And so I think those are probably the hardest moments when you're like working three jobs and you're getting in at 2 in the morning from another shift, and you've got to be up and out and in the studio and trying to be on your best form and be inspired. But also, I think then the upside to that is like getting to do something you love every day, and I can imagine not doing anything else. So I just feel so beyond lucky that each day, or like the majority of the days I wake up, I get to go and create and do all the things that I've dreamed of doing. And I think when you have these moments like a Roundhay show, or I did my first headline show in London in September last year, and those kind of moments really cement that. When you can see the crowd singing along, when you feel the energy in the room, and all those kind of moments, all those hard moments that you're working for, kind of like show right in front of you that it's happening, or this kind of like what you would have dreamed of at 10 or 11 or 12. So yeah, those are probably like my highlights. But I guess every day you got to enjoy the journey. So every day can be a highlight in some ways.
Definitely, and I feel like kind of as you mentioned earlier, I feel if you stay true to yourself and this is something that you love doing, it works out in the end, clearly.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with the music industry is like work hard, obviously, like try and create and get make the best music that you can, but it's resilience. It's
Mm.
like, can you keep going?
Mhm.
Just like keep putting yourself out there, even when everyone's like shutting the doors in your face, or it feels like.
Definitely. And so my final question for you is, what are you working on at the minute? Can you give us any insight into what we might be able to expect from you in the foreseeable future?
Yes, so I have lots and lots of exciting things coming out, kind of like the end of summer into the second half of the year. Um, I guess we're already in the second half of the year, but lots of new music, which can't say too much on now, but we have a lot of singles coming out into kind of a bigger project, which is dropping in the autumn. But it's something that I've been working on for so long, and it just feels so exciting and rewarding for it to finally kind of be coming to life. And so there'll be lots of posts on that soon. But I also have my headline tour in September, and that is going to be in London, Bristol, Manchester, and Glasgow. So I am just so excited to get out on the road. We're doing full band shows, which I've never done before. So playing lots of old music, kind of revamped and reworked, but also a lot of the new music that's to come, or that you will hopefully by that time know. And yes, I'm just so excited to meet everyone and kind of get back out there and visit these places that we've played supports in, and share the music.
Definitely. Well, I'm very excited to see everything that you've got coming up this year. And I thank you so much for joining me today. It's been an absolute pleasure to chat with you.
Thank
And thank you to everyone
you.
at home who tuned in to listen. I will see you all next time.